listening to the Estheticians Earn More podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 219. Happy Monday and welcome back. I hope you are having a good December. I wanted today to talk about something that I have worked very hard on over the past 8 years now, owning my own business. And I've helped a number of people work through that can be such a challenge in owning a business and being a business owner. And that is being a highly sensitive person and being a business owner. And I think this is something that is a superpower as well as a challenge to navigate. Because I think if we look at traditional business, 100 years ago, men owned all the businesses. Women couldn't own businesses, which is crazy to think about. And they were, to be a good businessman was to be very cutthroat, very, black and white, very like, this is how it is. And it didn't matter who you climbed on the way to get where you want to get. And of course, there's still people who operate their business that way today. There's still, it's men and women do that. It's not just a man thing. But if you don't have that killer instinct, like I've met different people who work in direct sales or work in, if they're a pharmaceutical rep or something where they have to get told no 100 times a day. They have to put themselves out there and be rejected over and over and over again in their daily job. They just, it literally rolls off their back. They may even be a person who loves confrontation and loves to be right and loves to prove people wrong. And I am none of those things. I never have been. And so much of my life, I was told I'm too sensitive. I have too many feelings, right? And it has become something that I had to learn to navigate in my 20s and then use to my advantage in my 30s, now in my 40s as well. And I will tell you, especially if you're in your 20s, but you can be in your 60s, it doesn't matter, that if you're a highly sensitive person, doing the work can be transformative if you really stick to it and you do it consistently. And I'm not of course you can take days or weeks or whatever off, but you really focus on these skills because you don't want to lose your sensitive self. Because I think my ability to understand and really empathize what someone is experiencing, whether that's when I did acne, whether that's now as my coaching business, I really know what it feels like to be in both of those shoes. I know what it feels like to try products again and again. They don't work. I know what it's like to go to multiple facials and people promise you everything and then nothing ever changes. I know what it's like to not want to wash your face ever because it hurts, and not wanting to use any products on your skin because it always burns. That actual fear of being like, I'm just not doing this anymore. This isn't working. This isn't worth it for me. I know what it's like to start a business with not a ton of people, just enough to pay the bills, not to make any money, and knowing that money needs to come quick or it's not going to work. And putting myself out there with putting my heart into my clients and their results and working so hard to get them clear and working so hard to help them and make them happy. And then people, don't follow what they're supposed to do, and then they're frustrated and you take it really personally and all of that, right? And so that, I think that I knew I didn't want to be completely change the person that I was. So I didn't have that sensitivity. But I also learned treating acne that the rate that I was going at was not going to work. I was burning out very, very quickly. And while I was growing consistently, I was becoming resentful of a lot of my clients because it was emotionally hard for me to be their punching bag, for lack of a better word. So anyways, what did I do and what I recommend you doing if this is something that you experience in your business, which I imagine a lot of you probably relate to this because I think most estheticians are very empathetic and very sensitive to just things around them. And there's a couple different things that I did that were huge, helpful things that I do recommend to my clients all the time. The first thing is energy work. I worked with a Reiki energy master, I think is the title. And I know some of you may be rolling your eyes like that's so woo-woo, but it really helped me identify in my body what was my energy and what was other people's energy. I know you may not agree with, you may be like, oh my God, Brittany. But truly, if you're an empathetic person, you can take on other people's energy. And they feel amazing after they spend time with you because they have all this heavy energy and then they just gave it to you. And then they walk away and they're like, I feel so much better. And you're like, I feel so much worse. And if you have 4 or 5 people every day coming in, just dumping their energy on you and you just take it, it's really hard. It's really hard. And that was really hard on me. And so I learned different Reiki strategies. I helped learn how to not take people's energy. And I'm not an expert at it. I sometimes do it. And I've realized I've done it. And I realize I have to like go back to the strategies and everything that I've learned. But that's a big thing. And I do teach my clients some of the strategies I've learned. If I see this in them, that can be really helpful. It seems really silly, but for me, it was such a game changer. And then the other thing, which I know you're not going to be surprised about if you've been listening to this podcast, is managing my thoughts, managing my beliefs. And I find that my A+ high achieving clients tend to be the most resistant to this. They're like, no, okay, it's fine. Don't worry about that. What can I do differently? Like, give me more criticism. Oh, you know who you are. And the criticism, if they're asking for criticism, is like, we have to work on these thoughts. And I know that again, because I've been there, right? And I am a high achiever. I like, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to know? Where else do I need to go? Who do I need to talk to? How do I do this? And you need to have that. Like, you can't just sit and manage your mind and have good thoughts all the time and then just like sit on your couch and just like hope, like click your heels together and hope it all, gets better. You have to put the work in along with the thoughts. But if you're just working really hard, and I'm looking at you, clients that I worked with at the beginning of this year, I had this crew of clients that were just crazy hard workers. And I'd be like, hey, we need to talk about and they'd be like, well, like look over in the corner, like, oh, I don't know. Like they did not want to examine this. And I've made them and then they're better for it. But you really want to look at the thoughts that are consistently showing up in your day and looking at them and saying, is this true? And is this thought serving me? And it has to happen again and again and again. And I got really good at having a notebook and just jotting down thoughts throughout the day and then going back later and examining them without judgment or expectation. And that's a weird thing to try to look at your thoughts as if somebody else, like you're looking at somebody else's thoughts on paper and like a friend of yours. I mean, like, is this a good thought for them? Is this actually true? Why could this not be true? Like one of the thoughts that I actually had with my clients, I think about that crew of clients, and many of them had this thought, which was, it's all going to go away. And I think I did a podcast around that same time because I was like, ladies, this thought is not serving you. And I knew they were trying to protect themselves with that thought. Like, what if the success I'm getting just goes away tomorrow? Like it just goes from $10,000 months to nothing, or $13,000 months to nothing. And people, that is a really common thing that your brain is trying to do to protect you. And so if you really examine that thought, you have to see where in the day is that coming up for you? Are you going to bed? Is it all day, every day? Like, when in the day does that come up? And then what action do you take after that thought? So if the thought is, this is all going to go away, and then you find yourself sitting on your couch, scrolling TikTok, watching other estheticians' businesses and thinking, I don't want this all to go away, so I have to mimic these other people, that's telling to you. That's telling to you because you're not actually looking at what's happening in your business. You're looking at other people's business in that situation, in this scenario, which I know a lot of people experience. You're looking at what they are doing and what they are sharing with the world, which is only a highlight reel, which we all know, but we always forget about it because our brains get confused because we think it's real and we think that's fact, right? We don't see the fires literally behind screen, right? And so I always, when that happens, I'm curious where that thought is showing up, if there's certain patterns, and then I always make my clients look at the facts. Like, actually look at their numbers, look at their bookings, how many new clients, how many sales have they done, how many repeat clients are actually coming in. Like, really looking at things. How did it compare to last week, last month? I have my clients do client funnels, and if the clients that do it consistently, it's the best way to keep their brains in check because they see every week that things are going either consistent or overall up. A week or two may go down, but it still trends up. They're not panicking about it going away because they can see with their eyes it's not going away. It's right there in front of them, black and white. And also usually when people have that thought like it's going away, is they doubt that they had any impact over where they are in their business. This also comes from a lot of like this, the high achieving clients of mine. Now I think about it, they're like, I don't know how I got here. I don't know how. It's so weird. Like, as if they paid for all those people to come in. Like, I don't know, man. And so I give you this example just to highlight that managing your mind and managing your energy so that you can take the action you need to take and you want to take. It is the triangle of need. So if you are managing your energy, but you're not managing your thoughts and your mind, then your brain's just kind of going all over the place. Good, happy, dip, up and down, happy, good, sad. Someone's happy, someone got great results, someone loved their facial, 3 people canceled tomorrow. Boom, up, down, up, down, up, down. You're just constantly surfing the waves of whatever's happening in your mind. So then it's hard to take action. Or if you are pretty good at managing your mind, you've learned how to deal with the constant chatter your brain may be presenting to you, your energy's off because you're an empath and you're taking a lot of things in, and the world around you. Oh God, the world around you. And this is something that the reason also I'm telling this podcast today is something I am struggling. My energy has not been great. It has not been great. World stuff, personal stuff, things that are outside of my control that I've been having to witness. It is heavy and hard. And I think we all have felt it, from the world at least. And it can be really hard to witness things, especially someone who likes to take action and fix things. If there's things that I cannot fix, that I have to witness, that is painful, that is very hard for me. And so I have to go back to my energy things. Because if I don't, my energy will be so down. And I've gotten good at managing my mind, so my thoughts are good. But without managing the energy that's around me of people and situations and of the world and environments, it is really hard to take action. Okay, so to wrap this episode up, this stuff takes work. You're not going to see overnight changes. You're not going to go from feeling really overwhelmed all the time to feeling great. And even as you learn these things, you don't feel great all the time. But you learn how to identify what's actually happening and address that so that you feel a little bit better and you can still get up and carry on in your business, which is the whole reason we're here. That is it for today. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.